being an addict is tough. People don't really realize that all the time. They look at addicts somewhat with some disdain, but being an addict is tough. And I know that because I've dealt with hundreds, maybe thousands of addicts during my career. I even know that sometimes when I make an appointment for somebody who is coming in on a meth charge, for instance, that there's a probability they're not going to show up because they can't be away from the drug that long. So stop and think about that for a minute. Somebody who just needs that drug so badly. So let me give you an example of a story that happened to me. Lady comes in to see me, a young woman comes in to see me about a meth charge, possession of methamphetamine. And we had to meet in court. And in this particular court, for the arraignment, or it wasn't actually an arraignment, it was just a first appearance, we have to file a memo with the judge, and she has to be there to enter a formal plea of not guilty. So, in this court, we stand in line. There'll be 3, maybe 4 lawyers standing in line. And then at the appropriate time, right before you go before the judge, when you're sort of second in line, you turn and you call your client up to stand next to you. And then the case in front of you is disposed of, you step forward and make your announcement. So I did. I was standing there in line and I was getting ready, and I turned and I motioned for her to come. I noticed she was dressed appropriately, which isn't always the case, but she was dressed appropriately, had one of those scoop kind of neck things and decent pants, slacks, or what have you. So she comes up and she stands sort of off to my shoulder right back here, and I really didn't look at her. And for some reason, I decided to turn around and look at her. And when I did, sticking out of her blouse, coming out of her bra, was a hypodermic syringe, a hypodermic needle, a syringe, sticking right out of her bra, about that much of it sticking out, and clearly visible to me, and I would have clearly been visible to the judge. I kind of looked at her. I kind of moved over a little bit to make sure the judge couldn't see me. And I kind of looked at her and said, look down. She looked down and saw it and tucked it away. Well, we got through that appearance and off we went. And about 2 weeks later, she went into rehab. And she successfully completed rehab. And I'm happy to say that we successfully resolved her case. She's on probation. But I got the nicest letter from her. First of all, you wouldn't recognize her from the first time she came in to the way she looks now. She's a really nice-looking woman. She just looked haggard when I first saw her. I got the nicest letter from her thanking me for what I had done for her. And quite frankly, that was unnecessary. She did it herself by going into rehab. And we still keep in contact through Facebook, and every once in a while she'll text me or something like that. But she told me that her decision to go into rehab was that day in court. She said that was her low point when she realized that she was so addicted that she had to take that needle into the courthouse through a metal detector and then into court, and almost got caught with it and almost had another charge pending. So addiction is a terrible thing. Don't look at addicts with disdain. They are in despair. Nobody wants to be an addict. That person was at one time a pretty decent person.